Hello everyone. Welcome everyone. My name is Long Lei, and I'm truly honored to be here with so many of the self-employed families who are working tirelessly to build both their business and their futures. Right? I see you balancing the unpredictable rhythm of income along the side with the daily needs of your loved ones, right? Your family. And that hustle takes real courage and dedication. Today, I am excited to share with you a proven step by step system designed just for you. People who face the unique challenge of buying the right home without the traditional steady paycheck. Obviously, because if you have an W-2, it's so much easier than, like this month you might get 10,000, the other month you might get five, and next month you get 20, and it's up and down, up and down. So there's a lot of like unpredictable, irregular income, right? Or even saving for the down payment also difficult, not to mention about a loan mortgage at all, right? So this webinar will help you gain clarity and confidence so you can secure a home that truly supports your family's lifestyle and the long-term financial goal. Because at the end of the day, owning the right home isn't just about a place to live, it's about creating a foundation of security and a peace of mind of the people who you care about the most. Back in the day in 2009, when I landed in 2000 in the US, I came to the US in 2009 with nothing, right? But the plane ticket was even paid by my sister. I remember it's about $800, and $800 for a one-way trip back to the day is very expensive. I don't have that, and I have to ask my sister to help me out with that, right? My aunt, when I came to the US, my aunt willing to let me stay at her house, share a room with her completely free, and I can even have food at her house as well. For my car, I have to ask for my mom, giving me $2,000 to buy a Toyota Camry back then, right? So with my life completely changed back then, and starting from nothing, I never imagined owning a home, right? Was even within the reach. Life was like, fantastic at first, to be honest with you. I went to Disneyland. I went to SeaWorld to see dolphin for the first time of my life, right? I can even like eat my first all-you-can-eat buffet in Las Vegas. Well, in fact, that's the only thing I can do in Las Vegas back in the day because I was only 20 years old in 6 months. I'm not even 21 yet, so I cannot do anything else besides eating. I enjoy it now, all right? So I was thrilling, but also overwhelmed because here's the thing. Soon, like after the first couple of weeks, when after my family welcomed me, right, I have to come back to school, and between school I do have to work, I do have to chasing my dream, right, restart everything, restart college, obviously for a better future. So life moved fast. I then a better future arrived already because I saw my wife, the love of my wife, the love of my life, right? And in that moment, I just knew right away this lady gonna be my wife. She didn't believe so at first, though. Well, I wear her down eventually, right? Fast forward in 2016, that year was the year I actually had to plan two weddings. By the way, for those of you who are interested, who are curious, that's to the same lady. It's just one in Vietnam and one in US, right? I was also finishing my master degree. I also want to do like at the same time job hunting, and I feel the pressure of building a new life already. Okay, I'm talking about this because I know I want to show you, I want to tell you that I know exactly how you feel now in your business, in your day to day. You have family to take care, you have business to take care, right? We were also renting back then. In fact, I rent a different place, stay with my mom, and my wife, my fiance back then, also renting an apartment, but with her mom. Now, when we get married, the idea is just the two of us moving together. But then at that time, that means the among the four of us gonna be three different rent payments. So it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for us to have to, like pay for the three rental houses at the same time. So the idea came up. Buying a home feel like the only option, but at the same time, it feel like impossible because, like I said, so many things going on already. Not to mention, I have no idea how to buy a house even possible in the US because when I came to the US in Vietnam, in Vietnam, right, people buy houses by cash 100%. That's the reason why a lot of younger generation, they cannot afford to buy a house because they don't have the amount of cash. So when I bring that mindset to here, it's like, how is it possible? So that's when I realized I had to reach out for some help. And luckily for me, I have my mentor, who is also my scholarship sponsor when I was in college, and he happens to be a realtor as well. And with his help, helping us prioritize the things, whatever, like what is truly matter to us, removing the noises and give us the confidence to take the leap. Right? Standing in our first home in 2016, May 2016, okay, with the keys in my hand, and I felt so much relief and pride. I completely forget all about everything else because I know that I can do it. I know that with this first house is the foundation of everything to resolve all the problem. Okay, I share this because I know many of you feel overwhelmed by the demands of your plate, right? Business, family, school, employees, customer, right? But what I learned is this: sometimes the biggest move not come when life is calm, but when it's at the busiest, and that's okay because we have the plan for you. That's what I want to show with you today. Okay. Most of the people, I totally get what you are facing. Okay. Most of the people, the biggest challenge I see for the self-employed families trying to buy their first house is hesitation. That constant inner battle where you want to, move forward, but feel like holding back by fear and uncertainty of what? Of so many things, right? The hesitation often come like because show up as an analysis paralysis, okay? Overthinking every detail, waiting for the perfect moment, and getting stuck in the cycling through endless options without making the decision. And here's most people don't realize this hesitation isn't just about being cautious. It's about a trap that keep you from making the progress and that costs you money, time, peace of mind, time and peace of mind. Okay. Many got caught up to, worry about the income. Okay. Worry about the documentation. How can I go through all the paperwork needed? I don't know, right? How can I have the stable income to get qualified for a loan, right? Or maybe a credit myth because you may be taking a loan from the business to take care of the business. So you're like, I don't have enough credit to obtain a house to qualify for a loan, right? Or maybe a fear, I'm not ready. I don't have enough income. I don't need a house yet. It's too much of the expense to own a house. Every single thing, many people get caught in this loop, spending months or even years waiting to feel ready, while home prices actually claim go up and then the opportunity slip away. And the problem runs deeper than just saving money and or improving credit score, right? For self-employed families, the unpredictable income, the lender misunderstanding, and the lack of guidance and the complex process of home buying that make buying a home feel overwhelmed. The good news, Understand this hesitation and the hidden forces behind it is the first step to breaking free. And that's exactly what I'm here to help you today. Okay? So by the end of this, you can have a very clear picture of how to go through every single thing, talking about income, documentation, credit risk, and fee as well, to overcome those and make sure that you have the right path moving forward. But first, what is the real cost? Let's talk about the real cost of owning versus renting. We talked about hesitation and analysis paralysis, right, as a core challenges. But what does it actually cost you? For self-employed families like yours, hesitation in home buying process today isn't just a slight decline. I have to be certain about that. It can have a significant financial and emotional consequences. Consider this, okay? Every month, spending, waiting, or second guessing that can mean thousands of dollars of loss in rising home prices alone. And you may say, okay, Long, this year the home prices actually go down. I see a lot of home that's drop prices on the market. What can you tell me about that? Well, the market is always up and the market is always down. Let's look at the long-term history, okay? Because you don't live, you cannot just look at the 1 month or the 1 year to predict the whole thing. You have to look at 10 years, 20 years to see where the market is moving. And on average, home prices, specifically in Arizona, let's say use a very minimal number, 3% annual increase, okay? That means a 450,000 today, 450,000 homes in Chandler could cost you around 13, 14,000 by just waiting for another year. You lose 14,000 in a year already by not doing that, okay? Now, another people also worry about the high mortgage interest rate, right? They come to me and say, Long, it's great. Concept of buying a home is great. What about a mortgage? I have to pay 6% or 7% in today's interest rate, right? So how does that make sense? But here's the truth. Yes, you may have to pay 6% or 6% or 7% on interest rate, but when you rent, though, think about it, right? You effectively paying 100% interest rate on that money, because every single dollar that you rent, every single dollar that you pay to the rent goes straight to the landlord, not building any equity or wealth for you. It doesn't do you any good. It's wasted 100%, right? So why do you have to worry about the 6 or 7% and not worry about the 100% interest that you pay, right? I would be arguing, and I'm going to show you in a minute as well, the monthly payment is the more important factor in the home buying process. As long as you feel comfortable at the 6 or 7%, the monthly payment at even 6 or 7 or 10 or 15%, is still much better than paying 100% interest to your landlord. Okay, so while mortgage rate may be higher in years past, renting means you are paying all the interest without getting a long-term financial benefit from the home ownership. But the cost isn't only financial. Okay, we don't have a lot of time to talk about financial benefit of owning a house, but it's not just that. The stress and the uncertainty of indecision take a toll in your family's well-being as well, and your ability to focus on your business. Think about it. If you have if you are at the end of the rent and you have to think, whether I should renew or not, that thinking happening every single year. So how does that fare to you? How can you focus more on your business in that regard, right? Financial stress is a leading cause of health issues, by the way, strained relationship and reduced productivity. What's worse, many buyers miss out on the favorable loan options or incentives because they wait too long and they don't have the clear guidance on how to navigate lender requirements for self-employment incomes. Did you know that you can actually get 4% interest rate or 4.5% interest rate even in today's market if you buy a brand new house? Right? So those are the things that we're gonna help you find out when we go through the home buying process. In short, hesitation doesn't just delay your dream home. It can end up costing you thousands of dollars and months of unnecessary stress that ripple through your personal and professional life. Here's the message for you. Through my own journey and working with countless of self-employed families, I discovered something that changed everything. The real secret to buy your first home, even with irregular income for today's market challenges, is this: decide your home today. Don't wait. Decide your home today. It's not about waiting for the perfect interest rate or flawless financial picture. It's about making a confident decision, taking actionable steps now with the right guidance and the system in place. This seemed to be very simple, but powerful shift in mindset cuts, right? In mindset and cut through and analysis paralysis. It turns uncertainty into forward momentum and transform what feels overwhelming into a clear, achievable path. Today, I am going to show you how to make that decision with clarity and confidence by following the proven step-by-step system designed specifically for self-employed families like yours. All right? Now, here's the 5 steps. Today, we're not going to overwhelm you by trying to cover everything all at once, okay? Instead, I want to introduce you to the full framework that has helped countless self-employed families confidently buy their first home, even in a challenging market. Our system has 5 simple steps. 1, preparation. We're talking about understanding financial pictures and getting ready to buy with confidence, finding the right people helping you out in the process, right? Production is number 2. This is the step that I think this is the step that is very excited, also frustrated at the same time, because in this, you're actually gonna go see houses. You're actually gonna provide some feedback to me and make sure that I can understand, and so that I can be certain that I understand your need and adjust the search for you, right? Next is the pricing. When you find an ideal house that you want to move forward with, we are going to talk about negotiation strategy as well as determine the fair price for both parties. I strongly believe in the win-win situation, win-win negotiation situation. I don't want to, of course, to protect you as a buyer, I have to, present all the offers you feel comfortable. But we cannot just negotiate $450,000 house and I want everything, so I want to offer $300,000 house if the market say 450 is fair, right? So I want a win-win situation. Weigh that, okay? Give you some benefit and give the seller also the benefit of selling their house. Process in this, we are going to making every transaction step, every steps in the real estate transaction very smooth, from inspection to loan approval to closing. Last but not least is progress. In fact, this is the one that's very important, and this gives me the opportunity to become a real estate investor in 2021 when I get started, right? Which is pay off the bad debt. I'm going to show you how to do that, earning extra income from your house, and get ready to invest in real estate and become the landlord yourself instead of renter, right? Well, in today's section, though, I'm going to focusing on the 2 most important pillars, in my opinion, which is preparation. Specifically, today, we are going to talk about how to save up for your down payment. In fact, this is the question that more than 32% of the first-time home buyers are concerned worry about when they start the process of purchasing a home. Pricing, how to determine a fair price in today's market. Make sure that you have the win, because you have actually in today's market, the buyers can negotiate a lot. You have the win, and then also get the house, get the offer accepted. Okay, the pricing and the preparation pillar will be the all other, like the production, the process, and the progress are equally important. And I'll share you way to get, exclusive resources and support on those steps after this presentation. So if you stick around, I'll show you now. I'll show you how to get information on the 3 steps. But in today, for sure, you're gonna know how to save for the down payment and get the fair price on the property that you like. All right. So here it is. Before we deep dive into the first pillar, in this first step of the home buying process, I want to make sure you have a way to continue this journey with me beyond today's presentation. So I created this free resource right here, and it's called the First Home Approval Blueprint. Okay, it's a step-by-step guide that complements everything, okay, everything that we are talking about today, as well as much more deep dive into the full 5 steps of the home buying process. Okay, that we don't have time to cover today. If you like to get your hands on this blueprint, right, here's what all you need to do. Scan the QR code right here and get a copy. Simple, right? This is my way to say thank you to you of being here and giving you a clear path to apply what you've learned today. All right. With that, let's dive right into the first pillar, which is the preparation. The preparation in this phase, we actually gonna talk about, the getting the people, getting the mindset, getting the money ready, getting the loan ready. Those are the things that is very important, because as first-time home buyer, you do need help. Do the process. And I understand that you can do every single thing through ChatGPT. Okay, very straightforward. You can ask ChatGPT, but oh Lord, how many times that I actually hear a first-time home buyer? And in fact, I have so many situations that the first-time home buyer thanks me because I corrected things that ChatGPT couldn't do it right. Okay, so so this is very important, and specifically in today, we are going to talk about getting your finance ready. And talk about finance, I want to share with you one story like this. Okay, it was 2016, right? The busiest year of my life. Okay, I actually not graduate yet. I'm about to graduate, but I do have my job offer already. All right. So that's actually 2 months away from my graduation. I got a call from a medical device company offering me an engineering job, $66,000 a year. It's about 5 years ago, right? I'm sorry, 10 years ago. Oh my goodness, 10 years ago. All right. I'm so proud of that amount that I make. That is actually the bizarre amount of money this is the largest amount of money that I earned within a year. Okay, for my life. It's actually that's the amount of money that I earned for the entire life up until that point, right? So, but so I do have a lot of money back then, 66,000, right? But here's the thing: a lot of people don't realize that I also have a lot of student loan debt. And combined together between me and my wife, my fiance back then, my wife, is about $200,000 in student loan debt. And by the way, a mortgage of my first home, remember? So, but I don't mind so much. When I get a job offer, right, and look, hey, why do I still have to have the Toyota Camry, 1995 Toyota Camry, right? It's rusted, it's paint peeling off, it's mopping here, mopping there. Like, oh, I feel like I should deserve more, right? So one Saturday, I convinced my buddy Ngaya. he's also a mechanic, right? To go with me to the Lexus dealership. Guy is a friend, and he's also a mechanic, so he knows about car, and I know that he always honest when he talks to me, at least so far. So I told him, let's just have have a look for fun, right? But if I'm telling you but if I'm telling the truth, I wanted to know what it feel like to, look rich, to have a brand new car, to have a Lexus car, right? But then when I drive, so he agreed, and I drove him to the dealership, right? We was right there at the Bell dealership, the Lexus Bell dealership. I was driving on Bell, like, oh my goodness, this is the first time I actually drive by a dealership and I pay attention to the dealership, because now I have money, 60,000, right? And now I can do it. So I'm like, it's so luxury. It's so big, and with a lot of fancy car, and the building even also big and nice looking. So like so I feel like I should park outside of the parking lot, right? So I park on the neighborhood street next to the dealership, and we just like walk to the dealership, right? The moment we step inside, I was hit by, I love new car leather smell. The showroom come up, and a salesman come and talk very smooth and very polite. So we did it. I did it. I made the decision to purchase a brand new Lexus with a price tag of $65,000. That's actually a little bit less than my entire year salary. And by the way, I don't know if you recognize $66,000. I didn't recognize that. Okay, this 66,000 is pre-tax. So after taxes, maybe I have like 50,000 left. And I made the decision on that day to purchase a $65,000 Lexus. Right. So it's completely no sense for me to do so. Okay. But I did that anyway, back in the day, and later, like back in the day. Now, remember the realtor that I told you, who is also my scholarship sponsor, right? He also met with me a week or two later. I drove to the Lexus. He was in to his dinner. I don't know if he intentionally did that or by accident, right? He talked about the concept of not having debt. He introduced me to Jay Ramsey, actually, and I'm very, very interested into that. And right the first time that he talked about, Dave Ramsey, like, oh, I just made the wrong move. I understand. And he explained, okay, that owning a debt doesn't give you if you are basically owning a debt, doesn't give you the responsibility needed to move forward in your life. It's actually the stop. It's actually gonna pull you back from moving forward if you don't know how to control your financial. Okay, so that from that moment, I believe that every single thing, okay, every single thing, when you get your finance in order, is the first step to do everything, including to confident buying your first house. If you are not knowing how to control your finance, there's no reason for you to think about buying a house, because buying a house is not just is not similar to buy a shirt or a jeans. If you don't like it, you return, right? If you don't know how to control your finance, there's a lot of things that could happen during home ownership. Maintenance, repairs, and even if you buy a brand new house, right? And even after the builder gonna give you the 1 year warranty and make sure everything in working order in a year, things could happen the year after that, right? So if you don't have the finance in order, you completely don't think about buying the house. And in fact, getting your finance in order is the first step to a confident home buying process. So how do you get finance in order? Very simple. Here's the 5 steps for you to work on to save for your down payment. Number 1, the income insight. Okay, you have to know exactly how much income you make after tax. Okay, my experience, that's the take-home income. And I know for those of you who, for you, is self-employed is more challenged because you don't have a stable income. So my advice, and this is actually took from Dave Ramsey, that well, get the average of the 12 months and divide that by 12, average by for the last 12 months, and use that number as a monthly target income, so that you know exactly how much going into your family. And if both of you work, including your spouse into that equation as well, so that you know total how much you get. Secondly, not less important is the expense awareness. You have to know how much you are spending on the monthly basis. And at this step right here, don't worry about, potential in the future, but focus more on the fact, the truth. And again, the same thing, if you don't know exactly, if you don't have the, the regular expense, for example, for school, right? For kids, they have a regular expense. Those are regular. But maybe for gas, maybe this month you spend a lot because you drive a lot, but that next month you spend not so much, right? Use the average of 12 months for that situation. So when you have the income and when you have the expense together, let's create a budget. Let's create the budget. The budget is the plan for your financial on the monthly, for your family financial in the monthly basic. You have to have the control. This is where you control where the money is. And not just control, but also this is where you actually start to save for the down payment. Because when you don't know the foundation of the income and the expense, right? How do you know when to get to get some money saved, right? So you know the income, you know the expense, you make the budget with the goal in mind, and that goal, the first goal, is actually saving for 1,000. A lot of people ask me why 1,000. Why is that so important? Well, that number is not big enough, or it's not too big, and it's not too small neither. It's not too big to make you feel stress and then you give up. A lot of people make big goal and then give up because their mind doesn't get used to saving yet, so they just give up if it's too much. But this is not too small to get you easily get it, right? 1,000 is a good start to get momentum. And by the way, this is also a good time for you to check all of your system, to all of your information above, to make sure that the information is correct. And now when you reach the 1,000, you're actually gonna go to the next step, which is the down payment discipline, which you're gonna have a goal based on your budget, okay, based on your income, based on your expense. Make sure the plan is to save 5% down. If you can, 6 months. In 6 months only, save for 5% down. Okay. Some of you may ask, why 5%? Well, you can do 3.5%. You can do even more, 10%, 25%, 20%. But like I said, I don't want to use this as a reason for you to delay the process, right? And if you save 3.5% or 3%, well, you may have to face a very big monthly payment in the future, and that's not good neither, right? So I think 5%, 5 to 10% is a good number for you to get started, okay? And then good enough amount of time for you to, get started on the home buying process, okay? So you can 5%, and you may ask, how much is 5%? I don't know. Okay, well, that's the fact that I come in. Okay, if you have a question, if like, hey, Long, how much is 5% in my area? But just tell me the city, the area that you're buying. I can look up for the information of that area, give you the average number, and we can calculate. For example, if you buy in Chandler and you buy this house, this type of house, might be $450,000. So 5,000 is about 15 I'm sorry, 5% is about $15,000. So that is your goal in 6 months. Okay, always have the deadline in your plan, and that will help you moving everything forward. All right, so these are the 5 steps to help you save for the down payment. Okay, now your action for today based on this is very simple. Create your monthly budget. Okay, by the end of this weekend, okay, have the total income in place, have the total expense in place, and create your monthly budget. Start with that. Next week, make the goal on when you can get the 1,000 done. After you get it done, ideally, by the way, is a month. Okay, I want you to do a month. Latest is 3 months. Okay, then the 5% after that. It's already 9 months. Okay, so if you do that, like save for 1,000 for 3 months and save for 5% for the next 6 months, that's already 9 months. But after 9 months, you can very well prepare to get into your home. Some of you may ask, what if I already have the down payment? Great. Go to the next step, right? If you already done everything to save your own money, okay, go to the next step and get approved by a loan officer. Make sure that they look at the income and make sure that you are, your tax paperwork, your bank statement looks good to get approved. That's actually the first step that you have to do. Okay, so after you're done with that, of course, you're going to go through the process. Remember, the second step is finding houses and things like that. But I think the more also important is the pricing. Okay, this is where you understand the market value and the negotiation strategy when you make an offer. I know this is you may not be ready to do that right now, but I think this is very important for you to understand that understanding the market is the key to make the right offer in today's market. Okay, so and that's the reason why I think I should tell you about the pricing in today. Okay, because many people feel like they can make the same offer number everywhere. I'm actually helping a couple finding their house, in 2021. That is a very, difficult time because the buyer is very competitive and the buyer, getting overbid all the time. But my buyers has a limit. So I teach them, okay, that's fine. Let's just do that number. Every single transaction, do that number. As long as, but don't do, meaning what I meant is that, I don't remember exactly, but I think the number is 400, right? 400,000. So every single house, we're going to make that offer, that number. Okay. As long as, well, don't look at the $500,000 house and then negotiate down to 400. That doesn't make sense. Or maybe don't look at the $300,000 house and make an offer of 400. Doesn't make sense, right? We have to understand the pricing. We have to understand what neighborhoods can give you that ability. Maybe 420 or 410, or maybe, a little bit more than that. Then we can negotiate to 400. Okay. So understand the pricing, and it will give you the ability to make the right move, and therefore you will be able to purchase the right house. Okay, and then that couple actually bought the house. Of course, we get rejected many times as well. Okay, but when it's time to come to this house, perfect for them, because the owner is still also was also in the distress situation, and they have to accept, even though originally they're asking for $430,000. Okay, we negotiate to 400, seems to be a lot, but because of the situation, the seller's okay with that. Okay, but how do we understand? Okay, so here's the point: pricing precision prevent painful purchase pitfalls. Okay, we don't want to waste time on, like I said, on, if your pricing target is 400, you don't want to waste time on 500. If your target is 400, you don't want to waste time on 300 neither. Because a couple of people asking me why. Because here's the thing: the $300,000 house, it will be in a much worse condition than a $400,000 house, right? So you don't want to sacrifice your life with that if you feel comfortable with the 400,000 price range. I'm not saying that 300,000 is bad, right? But it's mean like, because you feel comfortable with whatever price range, why don't you focus on that? Okay, so instead of buying a much cheaper, but then you have to worry about the maintenance later. Okay, so to be able to price correctly, here's a simple 3 steps. Okay, you have to understand the market trend, period. Okay, the market trend is very important, and don't just rely on one headline, one article, and give the conclusion about the entire market is the same, right? It's not working that way. Is real estate is local and it's depend on the area. The price may behaving differently. For example, even in today's market, even in Arizona, right? Chandler is a seller's market, but versus Buckeye or Maricopa cities is a buyer's market, because there's less competition in those areas compared to Chandler. So you have to understand the market, and at least for the 6 months period. Okay, I do have a lot of monthly, weekly market updates happening every single week on my Facebook. Feel free to subscribe and then receive the update on the weekly basis. The property, okay, we have to understand the condition of the property, and you have to compare with the comps, right? First of all, you have to understand the subject property that you're interested in, right? You purchase you have to do the inspection to find out the condition and everything, but you also have to look at the house in person before you make an offer and know, okay, what year the roof is, whether any upgrade or not happening in the last couple months or couple years. What are those? Okay, understand the condition of the property so that you can compare with the comps. And talking about a comp, it has to be similar to the property in the proximity area. Okay, I have a lot of people say to me, hey, why this house, let me find a house in Buckeye, but then I saw a house in Glendale with $200,000 more, right? Can I buy the house in Buckeye with that price? No, right? Or vice versa, right? If you look at the house in Buckeye for $300,000 house and compare with Glendale house, value at $500,000 house, and you say, hey, the one in Buckeye only 300, can I use that? It's not fair. It's not a fair number. So when you look at the comps, right, you have to look at the similar property with the similar features, with the same around years, right? It doesn't have to be exactly the same year, but it could be plus or minus 3 or 5 years only. Those are the 3 important factors to determine the price right. The price right, okay? So your homework today is simple. Find 3 comps that you believe, find 3 properties that you believe that similar to your current rental, right? It's not your house, I know that, but let's see. Okay, the reason is that you already know what the condition of the rental is, how it looks, and you know how bad it is, how good it is, right? Then you just find 3 other houses around the neighbors that sold within the last 6 months and compare and practice to see, okay, if you buy this rental, how much would you buy? Feel free to run it by me. More than happy to work through those numbers with you and show you the correct way. Okay? So far today, you learn why hesitation and paralysis can cost you thousands and hold you back from your dream home, right? We explore how waiting for the perfect time can actually lead to missed opportunity and rising prices. Most importantly, I introduce you to the core idea, design your home today, a mindset that turns uncertainty into action. We also cover the first 2 pillars of the magical home buying method, which is preparation and pricing. Okay, to understand the market value and negotiating smart, right? These pillars can give you the clear and practical tool to confidently take the next step toward home ownership. You are now equipped with actionable insight that most buyers do not get until much later, maybe too late, right? And that's what set you up for success. To help you take the next step toward a home ownership, like I said, I create this free resource right here. It's a first home approval blueprint. Okay, it's a practical step-by-step guide you guide you through the entire home buying process, including the things that I'll go over today, and walk you through the key steps as well. Okay, if you like to receive this blueprint, simple, like I said, just scan the QR code below and then get it for free, 100% free. This is my way to say thank you for investing your time today and helping you building confidence to move forward. When I first moved to, when I first moved from Vietnam, I barely speak any English. Okay, my my grade in English was always around like 2 or 3 out of 10. I remember one day when I worked at Marshall's back in the day that's my first job, by the way. A pregnant lady approached me and asked, "Where is the maternity section?" I was thinking, maternity, huh? In my head, I had no idea what she meant. What is that word? I haven't heard of that before. So I try to be helpful, right? Because I don't want to turn her down and I don't want to embarrassing myself. But I asked her, "Is that for man or for woman?" She was like, and pointed to her belly, right? That moment was embarrassing for sure. Even more embarrassing when I asked, compared when I should have asked, "What is maternity?" rather than, "Is that for man or for woman?" Right? Is even more embarrassing. But more than that, it was a wake-up call. Okay. Right then, I make the decision. Every single day, I would push myself, talk to someone, co-workers, customers, even my boss. The more I struggled, the stronger I become. 4 years of those daily conversations built my confidence. I went to school, I earned my master's degree, I become an engineer and work in the industry for 5 years. And the last position that I was is a project manager for a divisional project. Like for the internet, like the entire country, because my company has multiple branches, multiple division in the US. Okay, and now today I'm the business owner, leading a real estate team and own houses in Arizona. If someone like me, who started with almost zero English, almost no money, and I can build this life, then you absolutely can achieve your dream too. Because your home wealth engine is built one decision at a time, and it starts today. So if you like to have this is my last gift for you, okay? If you like to have a personalized support, feel free to scan this QR code right here. It's going to lead you directly to my website page, and where you can schedule a private call with me. In this private call, we're going to go through all the strategy one by one again, and make sure that I understand and give you the recommended step moving forward if you're still confused about the process after today's presentation. Last but not least, I want to tell you this. You are the heroes of your own story. Every day, you juggle the demands of running your own business, caring for your family, and building the futures that matters. That is no small jobs. It takes courage, grit, and heart, right? Like me, you may face moments of uncertainty and hesitation, but remember, it's those moments that create the opportunity for your greatest breakthroughs. If a person who started with almost no English, no money, and doubt can build a life of ownership, success, and security, then so can you. Your home wealth engine is built one small decision at a time, and it starts today. So, design your home today. Thank you, everyone. I'm honored to have shared this journey with you, and I cannot wait to see the incredible impact you will make when you step forward with confidence. Thank you.